All right. You are looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq was up 231 points or 1.4%, closed at a record high of 16,742, which was near the top of its daily range, which was 16,749 was the high. So it closed 7 points below that. Anyway, welcome to my daily review. Today is Wednesday, May 15th. Quite an exciting day. Some of you at mcstockcharts.com contacted me on X and posted that you had really great days. Some had record days. So congratulations. We're heading towards a power trend, which was, what we got into here in November and December of last year, then through the first 3 months of this year till we ran into trouble there on March 8th, or wait a minute, March 8th was this reversal day. Yeah. And then it made a new high and then corrected 9%. So we ran up 32%, corrected 9%. I'm not saying that if we get into a power trend here starting next Monday that we're going to do the same thing, but we're likely to stay in this trend for, a little while. I just want to point out this is 9 sessions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sessions where the low of the session was above the 21 EMA. You're seeing this green line, the 10 EMA, just cranking higher. The 21 crossed through the 50 yesterday. So this is day 2. We need 5 days above with the 21 above the 50 to get into the power trend, and we need an up day. So we're getting there, folks. I wouldn't wait for a power trend to get busy, though. Oh, by the way, for all you people who give me a hard time about volume, because I really don't care about volume, I was buying, getting real aggressive before today was really a follow-through day. So if you want to wait for all the volume to come in, that's great. So if you're getting started now, that's, it's not too late. It's just, yeah, if you play by the rules, that would be a follow-through day today. Anyway, just wanted to point out that it closed at 16,742, which is 7 points off its high, which means it closed with this hammer candle. And usually when indexes and stocks make new highs, they make more new highs in subsequent sessions. You can see these 3 hammers in a row here the last 3 days. Anyway, looks like it just wants higher, and these are institutional, support for those who want to see that. We saw that in the last rally here with these big blue bars, and now they're starting to pop up again here on the volume side. So it looks good for the index. I guess I have to go through the S&P. I don't really want to go through these other indexes, but I will. This closed at a record high as well, and the 21 is above the 50, and it's been the low of the session has been above the 21 for 9 consecutive days, just like the Nasdaq. And the Dow Jones, which is 30 stocks, but same thing here. It's now people are going to make a big stink about the $40,000 point level, which is a milestone to be sure, but it's got to get above I don't know, what has it got, 92 points to get to the 40,000. And hopefully it'll do it tomorrow and get right through there and get on with things, because it's just a number. It's a psychological number, though, for sure, and they do play a factor. One index that is still lagging, but doing better, and that's the IWM, or the Russell 2000, which was up 1.14% today. But you can see the 21 now just kicked above the today. It kicked above the 50 by 1 point, less than 1 point. So that's heading in the right direction too, and that's what we want to see. That's what I want to see. This is more risk index, and so some of these smaller stocks that I've talked about with these gappers, I'm going to talk about them later as well. They're small stocks, they're more risk, and they're doing really well. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Anyway, I want to get to Apple and the Magnificent Seven, which is not so magnificent. Apple, since its earnings report, is acting really well. It traded above 190 today and then just pulled back a little bit. But Apple looks fantastic. And, Microsoft, above the 50. I mentioned this yesterday and now followed through today. 1.5%. Now I mentioned that we had a lot of good stocks at MC Stock Charts, and we're fortunate and blessed that they went up, and we're making money there. But not all stocks went up today. A lot of them didn't. In fact, Amazon is one that did not fare so well. I think Netflix was down today. Tesla was down. Lululemon. Yeah, there was quite a few stocks that struggled today that are, I would consider quality stocks. JP Morgan, I believe that stock was down. Nope, it closed up, so I lied. But just a lot of stocks that were doing well just pulled back today. And even some of the, insurance names, Oscar even took a breather after making this big run. So not all stocks, were ripping today. ARM is another one that, kind of pulled back, hitting resistance at the 50. So don't take it for granted that, our stocks are going up. There are a lot of stocks that aren't. Meta just continues to plow higher, just attacking this 500 number here. That was a gift when it pulled back on earnings. What other ones did I miss? Google and NVIDIA. I'll finish out to 7. Google just plowing higher, pull back to the 21-pound support, now moving higher. Needs to take out that 174, and I believe it will. And I'm going to get to the king of AI, NVIDIA, which this is setting up in a base nicely. It undercut the 50, shook out people like me. No, not really. This is just one that you got to hold. I mean, but that's a shakeout. Okay, this is a shakeout, and it's just consolidating in a base. And this depends on your price. You're like, if you bought it, at 700 and it pulled back to 750, you're thinking, man, I can't let a gain turn into a loss. So that's why you're a weak hand, because of where you bought your position. Not that you're a weak person, but if you bought, back here at this base, that's why I like buying at bases. Fortunately, it ran like nearly a double here and then just consolidated. So the buy point really matters. And that's why we want good, clean entries. Anyway, NVIDIA just consolidating in a base, kind of broke out of this little shelf type pattern. And, it looks like it wants to attack that 1,000 level once again. I thought it was going to do it, but then it reversed on that March 8th reversal. So it's been a couple of months here where it's been consolidating. They report earnings next Wednesday, and everybody is looking forward to NVIDIA's earnings, especially me. And I think if they blow it out, like I expect them to, then we could see a whole, the whole cohort of AI stocks rip, just like we saw today. Welcome. Okay, I'm gonna go to some of these semiconductor and data center plays, energy plays around the data centers. Qualcomm, I had on our ready list, and I was hoping it would pull back, but it just, it blasted out on earn. This is why we pay attention to these 10% gains or more. And, this one just kind of lollygagged for a couple of days, formed a little shelf here, and now it's off to the races, and she's gone 194. I can't chase, a stock like that up that high. So if you missed it, you just move on to the next. That's what I would do. Or if you really want it, wait for a pullback and allow these moving averages to catch up. But, in my opinion, she's gone and she's never coming back. Applied Materials. I put this on the list because, oh yeah, they have earnings tomorrow. Duh. So anyway, it had a nice day, but if the earnings don't pan out, this thing's going to get a haircut. So if you don't want to take the risk, and once again, if you bought back at this base back here at 150, you're fine. If you just bought, around here, you need a cushion, right, in order to hold through earnings. And I have a formula for that. It's the worst day in the last year, and you had a 5% stop. So it was a 10% worst day plus a 5% stop. You need a 15% cushion heading into earnings. But this is consolidating in a base and looks fantastic. KLAC is another one in the semiconductor equipment group, blasted out of a base. I was going to put this one on the list, but I had Qualcomm and I had Applied Materials. I had enough of the names, and I don't want to get too crowded in one group. But I didn't put it on, and this one blasted higher, and it's got earnings behind it, so I should have put this one on instead of Applied Materials. But anyway, I didn't, so that's the way it goes. Anyway, CAMT is one that I did put on, and a CAMTech. This is it's a measuring company doing really well. With the sales and sales growth and the earnings growth. People you might say, oh God, it's kind of an expensive stock. And this is one that I'm talking about. 4.5 billion market cap. This is anything under 5 billion is kind of smallish, and and that it contains more risk. So this is indicative of the more healthy market right now, where a more risky name is, jumping 6.5% with volume. So that's not Aunt Sally buying that stock. CAMT making a new high, looks fantastic. I put it on the ready list, but I wouldn't be buying it here. It's just extended once again, 16% above the 21. So let those moving averages catch up, folks. DELL, it was mentioned at Morgan Stanley this morning as the top pick, and it got an upgrade with a price target of, I think it was, I don't know, 195, something like that. I don't have that information in front of me, but it doesn't matter. It just blasted out of this base here. 11% move, and DELL, once again, I've got to find new stocks to put on my ready list because that's extended, and you just can't buy that up there. You're asking for trouble. Even in a healthy market, stocks are going to pull back. That's 16% above this 21 here. So let those moving averages catch up a little bit. SMCI, I mentioned this one yesterday where it went up, 5%, and nobody said anything. It's like a little blip on the radar. So SMCI wanted to get people's attention today. It was up nearly 16% and went through that 50 like poop through a goose here. That thing is just really super strong. You can see the volume coming in. And like I said, don't give up on this one just because, people say it had a climax top and it's done. It's not done. I don't think it's done. Not with triple-digit sales and earnings growth and margin expansion. And, they're selling everything they can make, kind of like Eli Lilly. So, I wouldn't count it out. Some of these other data center plays, besides Dell and SMCI, is Vertiv. Another person was harassing me about this being way too expensive and it's going to get a haircut and the shorts are going to kill it. I don't care. I don't argue with the market. It's making new highs. So the market's telling us it wants higher. Wow, 104.60. I did not realize it closed so high. So that's right near the high of the daily range. Yeah, 96%. That's two hammers in a row there. So, I listen to the market. I don't listen to, the short people. But that's what makes a market, right? Everybody's got, their opinions and their ideas of what a stock is worth. So that is what makes the market. A couple of these energy plays, which I consider, data center plays, including like Caterpillar, but this is a Constellation Energy. It's got a nuclear component. They just reported earnings last week. When you get triple digit earnings growth, and I think they raised guidance to over $8 for next year. So, I don't know. Once again, you're going to always have people who say it's expensive. It's a 70 billion market cap. This is not no small potatoes here. They're doing over 6 billion a quarter in sales. So I don't know. I mean, what is it? 3 times sales? I don't know. That doesn't seem expensive to me, but who am I? I just go by the price, and it's making higher lows and higher highs. So you can see the green, the magenta, and the red lines, trending higher. So, the trend is your friend, and don't fight the trend and don't fight the tape. Until the trend bends at the end. We're going to stay with the Constellation Energy, STRL, same thing. In that it says building heavy construction, but they have a data center component. You can see that it consolidated in a base here, broke higher, consolidated in another base, and then broke out with earnings. And this is why we pay attention to these earnings breakouts with a 16% move. And the low on that day was 107, the high was 123. So just say you caught the middle at 115, you're $20 to the good now. So that's why we don't ignore these, and it's just making higher lows and higher highs. So once again, the trend is your friend, and don't fight it. You don't have to buy it, but you don't have to fight it either. VST is another one, utility, but it's the powering the data centers. You can see it's got these David Ryan ants before, and there was some folks who thought it was a climactic top here and pulled back to a moving average. That's all it did. And now it blasted higher and again, and it's got more of these ants, which is an indication of, institutions are buying this stock. And once again, the trend is your friend. The green, the magenta, the red, just pointing due north. You see the RS line driving through the moving averages. So not much to do there, folks, but count your blessings and your money. Eaton, another one of these power plays. This is a really diverse company, 135 billion market cap. Just once again, the trend is your friend. So pull back to the 50 and found support. And maybe if you're lucky, it'll pull back again to the 50, but the 50 will be much higher the next time. Anyway, okay, power. The last one is Quanta Services. This one really pulled back sharply, went higher on earnings and now pulled back to the 21 on Tuesday and made a nice, nearly a 3% move today. To me, this is actionable. This is a nice little base here. If you want to own one of these and don't want to chase, I might even put this one on my ready list because I'm looking for stocks now. This one pulled back to its 21 yesterday, and I think that was where, you kind of want to get in that 265 area. But, it's at 270 now, so, you don't want to chase. But to me, that's a pretty solid base there. I got to look at the weekly chart. Yeah, that's long enough. That's a long enough base there, I think. Anyway. I'm going to move on. Finally, I'm out of the tech, the Mag 7, the semiconductors, the data centers. I'm going to move on to the retail names. How does people like to eat? EAT is the ticker symbol. This is Brinker International. Made a new high yesterday, pulled back today. We saw the retail sales data that the restaurant stocks grew 6% year over year. So even though the retail numbers were coming down, the restaurants were doing quite well. So that was one of the bright spots in the retail sales data. Another thing where where the market thinks bad news is good news because consumers slowing, inflation's slowing, although it doesn't seem like it when you go shopping, and it's just not growing at such a fast rate. And then the labor market's starting to slow a little bit, so that's all good for the stock market. Anyway, it doesn't really make sense, right? But we just go by what the market's telling us. This is Cheesecake Factory. My good friend Mike Webster was telling me that he met his lady at Cheesecake Factory. I wanted him to go over this stock today, but he just said it's too extended for him. The earnings line's heading due north. It is extended, and just, plowing higher. I mean, you talk about power off the lows, right? The 33.44. This thing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions now is at 41. So it went up $8 or, nearly, I don't know, 25% gain there in the 5 sessions. So, and you can see this ain't Aunt Sally buying that stock. Institutions are like in the Cheesecake Factory. All right, I went through eat, I went through cake. I got to go to Bros, which is, I think they're taking market share from Starbucks. It doesn't really matter. We just want to look at the, what's the stock doing? And once again, you talk about power off the bottom. God, I don't know how many sessions in a row here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row right there. And then it pulled back one day, and then the last 2 days back up again. And this little is an indication, this teardrop is an indication of highest volume day in quite some time. So anyway, today, finished near the middle of its daily range, not near the highs like we would like to see, but it's had quite a few hammer candles like here, and here. Today it closed at 72% of its daily range, so in the upper half. So Dutch Bros looks fantastic to me. And if you want to buy it, people just want to know where they can buy stocks, right? And not get burned. It has a buy point here, a standard buy point of 36.17, but something that's moved that quickly, I would wait for like a pullback, maybe an inside day. It's quite extended from its 21, but I think it's going much higher. It's 18% above the 21. So maybe if you can get it, if it pulls back to that 36.17 level, you get lucky. And but this is, bigger picture. It's just emerging from this stage 1 base. It really sold off for a long, long time during that bear market. And even during the bull market of 2023, was the Mag 7 names were dominating everything. And right before it broke out, it sold off 7 weeks in a row. So this thing's just starting to get rolling here, breaking out of a stage 1 base, which is, the Weinstein classic stage 1 base with volume. And you can see the earnings line going up, and that's what I like about it. And that's why I bought Dutch Bros. And, I think in time, this could be a big winner. I think, I like to hold stocks for a year if I can. I know I run a swing trade site, but I don't like paying taxes. So if I can get in early and this one goes to like 80 or 100 by next summer, then great. Then I'll trim some, I'll get rid of it and pay Uncle Sam a little less money. But Bros looks fantastic. I got to go to the shoe stock. ONON made this big move. This is what we don't ignore, 18%. It pulled back a little bit today. And then at the end of the session, it closed higher. This is today's action. You can see it ran up and pulled back. It was actually red for a little while. And then just at the end, it finished up 12 cents. So yeah, that gap higher is not to be ignored on holdings. CROX is another one that I like, but it was under the 50 for a while and then powered right up to its buy area. And to me, that's the right side of this base went up too fast. And it had the one big volume day, but it needs to pull back, I think, to the 10, at least 4.7% above the 10. So let that thing, they're moving quickly. You could see the 21 just crossed over the 50. So let it pull back for a couple days. It's not the end of the world. I put that on my ready list, even though the Nasdaq was up a lot today. This was down nearly 0.5%. That's okay. Let it set up for you. You don't want them all ripping higher. It did make a new high, a 52-week high, I guess, and pulled back, but just give it some time. Be patient if you're interested in CROX. Decker's reports next week, I believe, the 23rd, which is next Thursday, and this one's forming a nice base here now. Nice consolidation below the 50, then blasted above it. So the last two sessions have been really strong for Decker's. And I'm through with the shoe group. I got to move on to the drugs and the medical stocks. Really like the way Intuitive Surgical looks. I'm going to put this one on our ready list because I'm looking for stocks to replace some of the stocks that I have. And this is, broke above a downtrend line here today and blasted higher. And you might say, gosh, Marty, you missed the move, right? It's already, already made a big move, but it could move a lot higher. This stock can really move quickly. It is 4.4% above its 21, and it's got that standard buy point of 403. So I'm just looking around for stocks that are set up to buy. MEDP, this is another one that I kind of like here. It's got this consolidation pattern. Made a nice little move today. Maybe it's starting to want to break out here after this shelf pattern. It broke above the 50. It broke above all its moving averages, and you can see those moving averages have converged because it's been trading so tight, 2.4, 2.8, 2.2. So they're all within like 0.5%. So that looks really good. MEDP. Okay, RDNT. I have people who are asking me about this one, and this one just I don't know what you can say. I mean, it broke out of this base here, made this big move of 17%. That's why we don't ignore these big moves. Pull back to the 51 time and just blasting higher. This is RadNet medical outpatient. And then Intuitive Surgical is, the medical, the Da Vinci with this surgery, elective surgeries, which people are going to have more of after, that we've finally made it out of this COVID mess. All right. Eli Lilly is another one that I like. It seems like I like a lot of stocks here. Just kind of breaking above this little downtrend, a short-term downtrend line there. It made 795, then now pulled back. Today broke above it. $23, a 3% move. I think it's going to go through 800. They had, decent earnings here, right? Earnings and sales, which driving this wagon here. You can see it just, had a little downturn and then last couple quarters just clipped right back up. So Lilly looks good. And also Novo Nordisk, this stock is a machine. You can see this earnings line and the stock for weeks, months, years, just trending higher. You still have to watch your stocks, but this is, I believe, a long-term hold. Just setting up in this base here, consolidated right around the 50. I have this one on our ready list too. Yeah, at 130 buy point, but it's 134 now. But it's likely to take out that 138 as the index makes new highs. The Lilly and Novo are eventually going to make new highs, but that is a nice cup shaped base. So maybe it'll come up here and form a handle. But it's going to do what it wants to do. So anyway, that's the medical and drug names. I got to go to the cybersecurity stocks. They're starting to perk up. They fell out of favor for a little bit. You can see CrowdStrike traded below the 50, now ripped back through it. It's got this, 365 paint by numbers, but I wouldn't wait till that. I think I had our buy point at 327. I wouldn't pay more than like 345 for this one. Yeah, it's starting to get a little extended. You know, if you want to own it, I mean, of course, just buy the darn thing. But to me, you don't want to buy it, then have it pull back, and then, you know, you feel bad. I'm underwater. That's not a good feeling. Um, so be careful. I mean, I like it. And if you're going to hold, this is where time frames come in. If you're going to hold CrowdStrike for a year, 2 years, or 5 years, I mean, sure, go for it. I mean, what does it matter if you pay 343 or 323? It's not going to matter in, you know, a couple of years. This thing's going to, as you can see this earnings line, I think this is one of your big winners here in the next coming years. It already has been a massive winner, but CrowdStrike, really well-run company. And it's chasing Palo Alto for the largest market cap of these cyber names, 83 billion. And I think Palo Alto is about, okay, it cracked 100 billion, okay, with a 3% move today. And this one's starting to look better too. They report earnings May 20th. That's what, Monday? Okay. So hopefully the CEO has something better to say this time around. And then I have to mention GEN of these cyber names, because once again, had this big move, right? And this is why we don't ignore these big moves. I'm attracted to them. 15% move on May 10th, which is what, a Friday, I believe. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just powering higher. Thank you very much. Yeah, the low is 22, now it's at 25. So yeah, Gen Digital looks fantastic. Okay, I'm going to move on to some of the names. I mentioned that, you know, some of these smaller cap names, you know, some of these software names. This is ZETA or ZETA Global, a computer software database, you know, up 4.4% today, blasted above 17, closed, you know, near the high of its daily range, 97%. So this has got another hammer candle, which is, you know, telling us that it probably wants to go higher. And so you say, gosh, man, I missed it, right? It blasted up. It was 1490 was low, 1590 was the high. So you split the difference. Say you bought it at 1540. Now it's at $17. You're up more than 10%. If you just, you know, embrace some of these breakouts here, you can see this earnings line trending higher. And to me, this looks like just one big, you know, IPO base. And now finally it breaks out. So, you know, this is 3 years in the making. So definitely pay attention to that one. Like I said, 3.7 billion market cap. KD, not the basketball player. This is Kyndryl Holdings, up more than 1% today. Once again, you know, blasted out of a base on earnings and just trading higher. And this is why, you know, this is what I look for to gauge healthy markets, because in a choppy market, it would just pull back. In a bear market, it probably wouldn't even break out. And if it did, it would just be underwater quickly. But in an uptrending market, this thing's trending higher, gaps higher, trades higher, 26% above the 21, closed at 96% of its daily range. You know, this looks fantastic. You know, the RS line blasted through the moving averages. The moving averages are trending higher. To me, this stock wants higher. It's not going to go up every day, but I think it trades higher over time. Anyway, another software name that I like, APP. These guys had some company owns a lot of shares and they're dumping them. It pulled back to the 10 yesterday. I think it was like 17 million shares. So once that gets absorbed, I believe this one will trade higher because of the you know, sales and earnings growth, which is, you know, the driver, the mother's milk of stocks. Look at this earnings line, just straight up. I mean, and once again, this just looks like an IPO base. It's breaking out here and wants, you know, higher prices, right? Here we go. You know, and yeah, that wants higher prices. So yeah, Apple 11 looks fantastic to me. Yeah, I didn't draw that very well, but that's okay. You get the idea. Monday, we can trust Monday up 21%. Look at the volume, you know, the sales, earnings growth, fantastic. Monday, you know, this is a move that's not to be ignored. So, you know, before it was what, 239, it made, I guess, what the shorts would call a double top, then sold off. Software was just out of favor there for a while, but it was up 21 bucks today, and definitely attacking that 239 area. This is moving with power. So yeah, don't be afraid of Monday mornings. I don't like Monday mornings. The data storage, group, Micron, broke out following earnings, pulled back one time, and now just trading higher. So that they give you your opportunity here at the 105, and if you didn't take it, it's adios muchachos. Pure Storage, another one that I have on our ready list, although it's getting extended. I would wait for a pullback here. Let me get this red out of here that bothers some people. You can see the double bottom base and the breakout here yesterday and follow through today of 5%. But yeah, it's 11% above the 21, so don't be chasing there. Allow it to come back. I doubt if it comes back to 55. If it does, it's a gift. They're going to report earnings May 29th, and this group is really strong. Cyclical group, one of the top 10 groups here. And this is NTAP or NetApp, excuse me, NTAP, formed that double bottom base, just like Pure Storage, and made a move today, although this is closer to its 4% and 4.8% than Pure Storage. Pure Storage is gone. She's gone, and I don't think she's coming back. All right, that's it for that group. And then there's one group I have to mention because I was going to put both of these on the ready list, but I only put one. This is a CRH building, cement, concrete. Do you know the difference between cement and concrete? If not, Google it. Anyway, this is forming cup, with handle, pull back here, and now blasted higher 3.7% today, which looks fantastic. EXP, one of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs, consolidating in a base here. Pull back to the 10. This is the one that I did put on the ready list, and made a nice move today, but still actionable here. It's real close to that paint by numbers 272.72. And we'll look at this on the weekly. You can see the move that it's made. Big move here, base, move up, form another base, move up, form another base. And the earnings line's driving this, probably in infrastructure. The Biden administration and infrastructure bill is, a lot of money pouring into these, construction and energy plays. All right, that's it for me, except for I have one more thing, and only one more thing tonight in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I did pay attention to Cisco Systems earnings call tonight. They're up more than 4%. Now, there was a time when Cisco, if they had an earnings report like they had tonight, that would move the entire market. But I don't think it has that kind of cachet or swagger these days. It might move the networking group though. And Arista Networks is in that group. See if it's higher after hours as well. And this one blasted out of a base. So I think the networking group will be, strong tomorrow. You can see the earnings line on Arista. And anyway, I digress because I should be talking about Cisco. I'll have more in the morning on Cisco in their report. They kind of had they sandbagged their guidance. They lowered guidance so they could clear that hurdle easily. And that's what good managers do. They take the pain for a little bit and they lower expectations, and then on earnings day they surprise. But it's only 14.6% off its 52-week high, and good for Cisco. I know a lot of people who work at Cisco still, good people, and they always tell me when the stock gets to 80, they're going to sell, back to when it was the heyday days. I don't even think the monthly chart goes back that far. Yeah, 99 it does. So it did trade at 82 back in the day. And they said when it gets back to 80, they're going to retire. I said, you're never going to retire. But well-managed company. Chuck Robbins, a good CEO. It's just not the go-go stock that it was. But it does pay a nice dividend yield. And Cisco's a great company. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, that was one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs, Cisco Systems. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow morning with more information. You should be doing really well in this market now. We should be stepping on the gas here as the indexes provide tailwinds for the a lot of the stocks. I just pointed out here that the 21 crossed above the 50. We could start a power trend as soon as Monday. So pick your stocks, wisely. Don't chase. There's still a lot of stocks set up in bases. I'll have a few more on our ready list tomorrow morning. They're all doing really well, but like I say, there's stocks that aren't doing well, so you want to stay away from those and pick the winners. We want to stick with winners. Be a winner, stick with winners, be kind, be nice, be generous, and never give up. Thank you for watching.